Welcome back, everybody. I am the German, and we are going to watch South Korea. Is it Cyberpunk Dystopia? Really? I have been to Korea this year, and it didn't seem to me like a dystopia. It was pretty nice. Not as great as Japan, but pretty nice. Let's go. What is so bad about Korea?
For the longest time, I've always found it odd how the cyberpunk genre seemed to have a strange obsession with Japan. All across these movies, you'll find Japanese text, culture, and characters. But this actually makes sense. These movies date back to the 1980s, a time period where the rise and growth of Japan was crazy. Japan was undergoing an economic miracle. In a 40-year time span, Japan had gone from a small agricultural country to becoming the world's third largest economy.
Good job,
Japan
guys.
was beating the US in tech, cars, and even video games. Japan's eventual surpassment of the US seemed inevitable.
There's
But of course,
cyberpunk
as we know,
music
this
playing.
didn't happen. The Japanese bubble burst, and Japan stagnated. And yet, you still continue to see Japanese influence in cyberpunk.
Because it looks
But
like
there's
the
a country
future, guys.
which I think fits the cyberpunk motif even better. Korea.
I
It's
disagree.
always been a staple of cyberpunk media to feature massive, domineering corporations. Blade Runner has the Tyrell Corporation, Ready Player One has IOI, and Korea has Samsung.
Well,
It's hard to overstate
That's true.
the impact that Samsung has on Korean society. Many think of Samsung as simply a technology company, but it is actually an incredibly diverse mega corporation. The Samsung Group has over 80 subsidiaries, the largest being Samsung Electronics, which makes everything you think of when you imagine Samsung. But there are of course a number of others, such as Samsung SDI, which is an energy company, Samsung SDS, which offers IT and consulting services, Samsung C&T, which is a construction company, Samsung Sports, which owns a variety of sports teams, Samsung Fire and Marine Insurance, which, you guessed it, offers fire and marine insurance, Samsung Heavy Industries, which is the world's second largest shipbuilder,
No
and
way.
Samsung Life Insurance, which is not shady
the
whatsoever.
second largest
These
shipbuilder.
subsidiaries of the Samsung Group make up roughly 20% of the Korean economy, which is absolutely absurd. This level of dominance over the country lacks any real comparison. It should come as no
That is a
surprise
lot.
that Samsung is also Korea's largest employer.
Wait, how much does Apple contribute to the States? That's the other question. Apple GDP percentage USA. 10%. Guys, what is the difference between 20% and 10%? Huh? It's just 10%.
Employing 100,000 people across the country. Even the United States' largest employer, Walmart, makes up only 2.5% of the economy. The level of control
Wait, what? I just looked it up. Apple. Whatever.
Samsung has over Korea is insane. Just looking at it at a cultural level, if you were to ask a Korean primary schooler what they wanted to do when they grew
Work
up,
at Samsung.
more often than not, they'd say work at Samsung.
Gotcha.
Kids in Korea have it drilled into their brains that getting a job at Samsung is their key to a better and more prestigious life. This isn't an easy task, however. Children, even from an incredibly early age, know that if they want to work at Samsung, they'll have to do it very well in school and get into a prestigious university. Korean society places an incredible significance on education. School days are 11 hours of lecture-based instruction in a
What? 11 hours? Are you kidding me? No way. What? Until 10 in the evening? Really?
variety of subjects. And starting in middle school, more than 95% of students will begin to attend privately owned, for-profit cram schools after they finish their regular school day. Overall,
What? They have school until 10 and then they go to another school? I don't get it.
students may spend as much as 16 hours studying in a day, only coming home to sleep. There's a
You know how much German students study? Extra? 00. No.
common saying in Korea that if you sleep 3 hours each night, you may get into a top university.
What
If you
the
sleep
hell?
4 hours each night, you may get into another university. But if you sleep 5 hours or more each night, especially during your last year of high school, forget about getting into any university.
Guys, this is ridiculous. Can anyone confirm this is true? How can you function if you only sleep 4 hours or 5 hours? If I sleep 4 hours for 2 days in a row, I'm dead. I'm a zombie.
Even more so than other countries, getting into a top university in Korea is a big deal. And the only way to do that is by scoring highly on the Suning or CSAT exam. The Suning exam is a 9-hour-long all-encompassing exam.
9 hour? What? Okay, what is it? Number of questions, 45. 80 minutes, national language. Mathematics, 100 minutes. English, 70 minutes. Korean history, 30 minutes. Oh, not important, huh? Collection of key Korean history questions, 15 minutes. First subordinate subject, whatever that is, 30 minutes. Second foreign language, classical Chinese, 40 minutes. Well, it's a lot of languages, huh?
And is offered only once a year.
9
During
hours.
these 9 hours, the country holds its
That's
breath.
crazy.
Teachers wear trainers to muffle their footsteps as they pace their classrooms. Roads around schools are shut down to prevent traffic for students arriving at test sites. Even planes are grounded all across the country, so the sound of them taking off is not a distraction to students.
What?
The pressure is immense. Students study Korean, English, mathematics, and history, knowing that if they aren't happy with their result, they'll have to endure another year of grueling studying just to try again. For those who did poorly, well, they'll make up the 20% of students who will take it in a year. Some may even take it up to 5 times. And for those who did well, their parents may reward them with plastic surgery. After all, a more attractive face will give them a leg up in the job market. This may seem insane for people in the West, but yes, this is true, and it's almost a cliche at this point. Of course.
Yeah, I heard that South Korea is one of the countries with the highest percentage of plastic surgery. And I was talking to some locals and they could confirm that if you have no plastic surgery that makes you look more beautiful, then you have very low chance of getting a job. Like, I mean, if you're ugly.
There are others who may never be able to find success with Suning and will be forced to look for a different path. Some may abandon their dreams and work in manufacturing, while others may try to become professional gamers, spending all their free time practicing in internet cafes. Some may even try to become K-pop idols, but even in the entertainment industry, there still exists this extreme work culture. When someone auditions to become a K-pop idol, they sign what's called a slave contract, where they agree to let a management company control every facet of their lives for years.
Slave
It
contract?
often takes years of incredibly intense training for a K-pop group to debut, and in that time, trainees are constantly monitored, having to follow an extremely strict diet and are not allowed to be in a relationship.
What?
Trainees live together in dorms so they can be better monitored, and aren't even
They live in dorms?
allowed to leave without permission.
They're not allowed
At
to
any
leave?
point, even after years of intense training, the management company could drop the trainee with no financial compensation.
That is ridiculous.
This extreme work culture, which propelled Korea onto the world stage as a major economy, is also slowly destroying it. Extreme overworking has caused a mental health epidemic, giving South Korea the highest suicide rate of any developed country in the world.
What, more than Japan? Seriously?
Since the 1980s, Korean
intense.
population growth has fallen below replacement levels. As of 2020, the Korean fertility rate was at 0.84 births per woman, which not only puts them far below replacement level, but also is the lowest in the world. The population of Korea is already in decline and will continue to far into the future. This is only exacerbated by the country's compulsory military conscription, which forces all men in the country to serve in the army for at least 2 years.
Well, to be fair, they have North Korea as a neighbor, so...
Well, all men in theory at least. Of course, like any other country, Korea has exceptions to its conscription, and those who are unfit to serve don't. And who decides who is fit to serve? Military brokers.
Of course. Same in Germany. At least it used to be.
In August of 2022, after serving 18 months in jail, Samsung Vice Chairman Lee Jae-yong was officially pardoned for his heavy involvement in a bribery scheme with the previous Korean president Park Geun-hye, where Lee Jae-yong would offer over $38 million in bribes. Yoon Suk-yeol, one of Park's successors after she was sent to jail, would then go on to pardon Jae-yong, citing his importance to Samsung and by extension the larger Korean economy. Korea is not new to corruption. In fact, a very similar scandal happened years ago with Lee Jae-yong's father, Lee Kun-hye, who, along with his many scandals, is credited for the transformation of Samsung into one of the world's largest businesses. It seems that anyone connected to these hyper-rich families can get away with anything. In fact...
But that is everywhere like that. That's not a Korean-specific thing. If you have money, if you're famous, you get away with things. Especially
Korea
in the
has a
States.
word for these families. Chaebol. At the start of this video, I may have lied a bit. Korea doesn't just have Samsung as its corporate overlord. It also has 3 others.
LG.
SK, Hyundai, and LG.
Yeah.
These four chaebol make up the majority of the Korean economy and account for half of all exports. Work at these companies is so in demand that in addition to demanding degrees from highly prestigious universities, they also have their own standardized entrance exams to recruit workers, of which hundreds of thousands of people take annually. The families
Wow,
that
that's a
control
lot.
these chaebol are near untouchable, and they are so spoiled that they'll rent an entire passenger plane just because you serve them their macadamia nuts in a bag rather than on a plate.
What?
The Korean government is a hostage to these companies. If any one of them were to fall, it's possible the entire Korean economy may collapse.
Oh,
The Korean
yeah.
government has little choice but to let these companies do as they please.
Oh, wow. That was some intense video, guys. Huh? And I'm shocked to find out about how much children have to study. 16 hours a day, and they have to sleep 3, 4, 5 hours only. That is cruel. And I don't think anyone can give their best performance having this little sleep. It's physically impossible. Or how would Arnold Schwarzenegger say? Just sleep faster. Well, it's very sad to see that some people have to grow up in such extreme pressured environments. It certainly is not the case in Germany. It really doesn't matter if you study at all. You will go through school and you will go to a university because getting into a university is not that difficult here. And most of them are good. There's a few that are better, but none that have like, ooh, this is the gold standard university. That doesn't exist here in Germany now. But from what I've seen in Korea, this look of a K-pop model, like Koreans don't look like that. Maybe like a very, very, very small percentage. In like 2 weeks in South Korea, I have seen like maybe 2 girls that were looking like K-pop girls, and the rest were like normal human beings. I know it's all around the world. Pop stars, models are more beautiful than the average human being, but those are like bands. And bands in Germany, they have the ugliest people in them. Not necessarily, but it doesn't matter how you look here. But it does matter, which makes it very sad for the rest of the population. Because then this image of beauty, or what people would consider beauty, branded in your brain. And that's very sad. And yeah, very sad to see so many people go to plastic surgery. So if you consider plastic surgery, there's a 99% chance that you don't need it and you are a beautiful human being. So please, don't do it. Okay? Unless you had an accident and you need a new nose, don't do it. Okay? And with that said, see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.